He received a glare from a passenger before boarding. Without saying a word, she took off her high heels and stirred them into the coffee repeatedly. She then handed the coffee to that passenger. The passenger sensed something was off and immediately splashed it back onto him. The scalding coffee instantly burned the flight attendant's arm red. The flight attendant was furious but dared not speak up. Because the other person was the Thai princess, the princess had chartered the entire plane. Only she and the captain were on board as staff. Lisa had no choice but to make another cup of coffee and bring it over. The princess, however, wore an expression of utter disdain. She became even angrier upon seeing the diamond ring on Lisa's finger, because she herself was wearing an identical one. The princess ordered Lisa to take off the ring so she could examine it closely. Lisa was inwardly resentful, but had no choice but to obey. The princess snatched the ring and immediately threw it on the floor. She stomped on it hard with her golden high heels. She even forced Lisa to kneel down and beg for her forgiveness. Lisa's sense of self-worth completely shattered. The seed of hatred was planted right then and there. At noon, Lisa brought out a specially prepared meal. The princess showed no interest and instead asked for Lisa's workday lunch. Lisa realized the workday lunch was seafood noodles. The princess had a severe allergy to seafood. She quietly picked out the seafood and served only the broth-soaked noodles to the princess. The princess ate it without a hint of suspicion. She soon began coughing violently. Lisa pretended to be helpful and handed her a glass of water. The princess suddenly rushed toward the bathroom. Lisa found several photographs left on the seat. All she saw were images of herself on dates with the prince. Only then did she realize the princess had known about their relationship all along. Terrified, she tried to run away, but ran straight into the princess, who had just returned from the restroom. The other woman's eyes were bloodshot red. Lisa hurriedly ducked back into the lounge. After the plane landed, she finally saw the princess off. The next day, during her return flight, the television news reported the princess had died unexpectedly from a seafood allergy. In her final moments, she specifically instructed that Lisa escort her body back home. The captain dared not refuse and had no choice but to assign Lisa to carry out the task. Lisa felt uneasy upon seeing the body wrapped in a white cloth. After the captain returned to the cockpit, she was left alone with the remains. The plane encountered severe turbulence shortly after takeoff. The princess's body suddenly slipped from its seat. Terrified, Lisa immediately called for help. The captain could not leave the cockpit. She had to move the body back into place by herself, bit by bit. She also secured it firmly to the seat with rope. Thinking it was now safe, she sat down to rest. The plane jolted violently again the moment she closed her eyes. The princess was suddenly in her arms. It turned out to be just a nightmare, but she dared not sleep anymore. While pouring water to calm her nerves, she caught a glimpse of a figure flashing through the cabin. There were clearly only her and the pilot on the plane. She gathered her courage to investigate only to find the body was gone. A violent coughing fit came from the bathroom. She recalled the princess' reaction after eating noodles earlier. Terrified but with no choice, she headed toward the bathroom. Shrouds were scattered across the floor, but the bodies had vanished without a trace. The coughing grew louder and louder. She summoned her courage and pushed open the door, only to find it completely empty. Just as she was puzzled, the plane jolted violently again. The bathroom lights went out and the door locked from the outside. Two sudden coughs echoed from behind her. She faintly sensed someone drawing near. She pounded on the door desperately and finally managed to escape. She scrambled toward the cockpit in a frantic crawl. Midway, a food cart suddenly came barreling toward her. At this point, Lisa no longer dared to stay alone in the cabin. She had no choice but to seek help from the captain in the cockpit. But by then, the plane had already entered a thunderstorm zone, so the captain ignored her. She then grabbed an axe and smashed the cockpit window repeatedly. The captain reluctantly came out to calm her down. Hearing that the body had run away, he immediately realized she had lost her mind, because the body was clearly still in its seat. The captain used zip ties to secure her to a seat, directly facing the princess's corpse. She was paralyzed with fear and could only cry in despair. At that moment, the corpse suddenly coughed. The shroud slowly slipped away. Lisa closed her eyes and braced for death, but everything around her suddenly fell silent. When she opened her eyes, the body had vanished.